Yo, what is going on, my friends? Welcome back. My name is Charles McKenzie, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a review or just talking about my thoughts on the Our Legacy Camion boot. Have noticed that recently I picked up a pair of the Camions. As you can see here, I am getting good use out of them. They are already getting worn in and already kind of banged up. I haven't really cleaned them at all. And I wanted to use these for a good substantial amount of time before I even spoke on them because they are such a big ticket item. I had to give them a fair shake before I shared my thoughts. So I feel like I'm at the point now where I can talk about these boots, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, if anything. And maybe it informs you on making a decision on whether or not these are for you. I will also offer alternative options for you to purchase. Just because these are so expensive, they're not gonna fit in everybody's budget. And I don't think that you have to spend $730 or $850 after tax and shipping for a pair of boots if you don't want to. So right off the bat, I have these boots. These are the Koss heeled leather boot. These are from the Koss Atelier line. They sent these to me 2 years ago now, maybe more. And these things are a beast. I'm gonna use this as a benchmark today to compare the Camions to because these are half the price. These were about 400 or 450 Canadian at the time when I received them. They're really hard to find now. If you can set up a way to get notified if they do bring them back, I maybe recommend doing that. I don't think they're in stock anymore. And I do believe they've changed the zipper from a silver one to a black one. I actually prefer the silver, but as you can see, it's broken on these boots. So I have to get them repaired. I'm not gonna throw these out. I'm just gonna go get them fixed, but I'm really busy. I barely have time. When I get around to it, I will. And inside, you can see the liner is ripping as well. So after 2 years, not major issues. The boot structure is still fantastic. So that's what I'm gonna be comparing the Cameon to. So here's what they look like side by side. Obviously, the one that I'm used to wearing has way more of a Western influence to it. It almost has that cowboy boot shape. And I think I actually prefer that look to the Cameon. The Cameon is nice, don't get me wrong, but it has just more of a casual sort of toe box and just like more of a casual vibe to it, which is fine. It's just a thing of preference. There's nothing wrong with that at all. After styling them, I actually prefer the way these look. They just feel a little edgier and a little sleeker than these do. These actually kind of feel sort of clunky on the foot, but it's not a bad thing. It's just something I noticed. So comparing the Camions to the boots from Koss, they're both actually made in Portugal. I wouldn't even be surprised if they came out of the same factory. They feel very similar in quality. The thing that I'm noticing holding them in my hands is the Koss boot is much heavier. The heel on this thing is hard as a rock, and every step you take, it's like walking on hardwood. I think this is made of rubber, but it is very dense, it is very heavy, it is very hard. There is no forgiveness in your steps. And I've had a lot of soreness and back pain from wearing these for extended periods of time just because it's boom, boom, boom with every step. You don't get that in the Our Legacy Camion. I was actually very pleasantly surprised with how sort of, I know it sounds hard, but when you step on it, it's a much softer impact. So this, I don't think anyone would ever talk about, or at least I haven't seen anybody talk about this. It just feels a little bit softer to walk on than this one. So now when I buy boots, I'm gonna keep that in mind. Like, how does this feel? Is this an everyday boot, or is this just like a special occasion? I'm gonna mess up my knees because the impact is so hard boot. These are definitely an everyday boot, and I've been wearing them almost every day, as you could tell. And I like to beat my stuff up. I know there's salt on here and you're probably cringing like, oh my God, take care of your stuff. Look, at the end of the day, if I'm spending close to $1,000 for anything, I'm using it. I'm putting it to the test, I'm using it. I don't care if I get it dirty. And these are boots. At the end of the day, they're boots. I understand it's a fashion thing, but these are meant to be worn, they're meant to be beat up. And if they're gonna charge that much money, I wanna know if I'm getting my money's worth. So obviously, I'm gonna respect them, I'm gonna polish them, I'm gonna treat them, and I'm gonna try and make them last a lifetime. But I'm also not afraid to beat it up. Same thing with like a nice watch. I don't care if it gets scratched. It's just adding character and adding to the experience and having the item adapt to me over time. That was one of the things I noticed, is how much softer they were to walk on than my previous pair. And another notable thing is if you have wide feet, I think these are gonna be way better for you than like a Western style boot. You can just see in the toe box how much wider it is on the Cameon than this one. This one's been stretched out from me over the years, but this here is barely stretched out and it's already really wide. So I found there to be a lot of room in the Camions, which for me is amazing because I have extremely wide feet. I actually think somebody with a narrow foot might find these too large. Maybe you would even have to size down because they're quite roomy. And that is a good thing. I think part of the reason the zipper broke on these ones is because they were so snug and my feet are so wide. I was constantly putting pressure on the zipper and one day it just couldn't take it anymore. These ones have a little bit more room in there, so they're softer to walk on and a little more roomy. I like that. Now let's talk about some alternatives to the Our Legacy Camion boot that I've found online that you could buy. Some of them are affordable and then others are quite expensive, just different brands that maybe you can take a look at. All right, I did some digging and I found a pair of boots for $300 Canadian, which is less than half the price of the Our Legacy Camion. And these boots are called the Marrow from Joseph T. This is another casual boot. They don't specify, at least I can't find where it's made, but they do say it's made with Italian leather from like a renowned Italian tannery. They also mention that they have Vibram soles, there's added breathability in the boot, and they use YKK zippers. So a lot of buzzwords there. Clearly they have a demographic in mind, and that is somebody who's looking for the Cameon boot but can't afford it. At least that's my observation here. I can't speak on the quality of these boots. I've never ordered them, but for $300 and a boot that looks like this, I feel like it might be worth the risk. I thought this one was worth mentioning because it does look interesting, and if any of you have tried it, I want you to comment down below what you think about this boot, how long you've had it for, if you think it's worth it, or if I forgot to mention something about it, also let me know. Next up is the round square ankle boot from Musina or Musita Standards. I don't know exactly what the brand name is. These are, again, they look like an Our Legacy dupe, but they're $97. I believe that's American money, so probably like 140 Canadian. They're made in South Korea. They have a rubber sole and then a leather outer and a leather inner liner. It doesn't mention what zippers they use. That might not be important to some of you, but clearly zippers can be an issue. But for $97, I mean, this might be worth the risk. So if you're really on a budget and you want to style a boot like this, see if it's something that you even like, this might be your best bet. All right, now if you have the budget for the Camions and you're wondering, is there another boot in the same price range that might be better or different and you just don't want to buy into the Cameon hype, then maybe this one is for you. This boot is called the Men's Square Boot from Studio Nicholson. This one is $735, so $5 more than the Camions, but they seem to be in stock, so maybe not that many people know about them. Also made in Portugal with a Vibram sole and a leather inner and outer. I feel like maybe everybody's just making their boots in the same factory, so I expect a similar quality here. Also for the price point, I hope the quality is similar. Slightly different on the construction here with just the way the leather is sewn together on the front of the boot. There's a little more protection on the top of your foot where you hinge. Maybe that will last longer over time. I'm not too sure why they do that. It's also visually a little bit different. Maybe you have a preference for this look. That's totally up to you. I just thought I would mention it. All right, another pair of boots I found are from Zara. These are a leather Chelsea boot and they're kind of like a mix of both the Cameon and my Cost boot. They have a Western style to them, similar to the shape here. They've got that more angular look and sloped foot angle, which I don't mind. I actually have a preference for that. I don't necessarily think I love the style of this though, because it's got that Western profile, but when you look at it from the top, it's got that really square-toed boot, and I'm like, those two things don't go together. I wish they would have just picked one. Like, keep it pointy, keep it Western, or keep it casual, keep it more flat. I've personally never purchased any footwear from Zara, so I can't speak on the quality of any of it. $319 US. You're getting into like the upper echelon of price point here. I feel like if I'm gonna be spending $300-400 on boots, personally, I'm probably not shopping at Zara, but there's an option in case you're interested. Feel free to take a look at those ones. Steve Madden has a boot called the Lazio Black Leather. These are interesting. They're a little bit chunkier on the sole and they have a really like snug ankle, but I don't mind this, especially if you're like wearing thinner pants or more of like a slim fit pant. I feel like this could work for you. You know, you can slide it under your pant leg and it might just fit a little more comfortably. I don't think these are a replacement for like a Western style boot or the Cameon. I think they're just a totally different thing, but for $129, at least on sale, but that's basically like $100 US. I feel like maybe they're worth a shot. So if you can find these in person, maybe try them on. They're not gonna, again, be the same thing as what you have here. I think they're a different style, but it is a black leather boot with a heel under $200. I was like, all right, I think I have to include this one in the video just to give you an option. All right, next boot is a very expensive boot, more expensive than the Cameon. These go for almost $1,300 Canadian. Right now they're on sale for just under $1,100 on Essence. Usually that's due to them only having a few sizes left. And that is the Lemaire black piped zipper boot. I love Lemaire's piped loafers and piped footwear in general, and I've been meaning to try on a pair in person for quite some time now. I'm not gonna impulse buy these because they're so expensive, but I love the way they look. I've always enjoyed the silhouette, the casual, just like elegance to them, but also the uniqueness of that piping right down the center. I love it. It reminds me of the Clark Desert Treks with the pipe down the middle. So if you've ever tried these boots, or if you own these boots, or if you have any thoughts about these boots, also let me know down below what your thoughts are on the quality, if they're worth it, if you like them more than the Camions. I'm curious to know what you guys think. All right, and that's it for the alternatives that I could find. There's definitely gotta be more boots out there, so let me know down below if you have another alternative that might interest all of us who are looking for an affordable Our Legacy Camion. And if you do have anything in mind, please let us know if it's good quality, if it's real leather, what the price point is. I'll check it out, and if anybody else can validate that information in the comments, also feel free to leave a reply. In summary, at the end of the day, this boot I think was totally worth it. I enjoy nice things, and I'm not afraid to spend money on said things. I understand that a lot of it is marketing and is trends, and that's okay to me. I am a little annoyed that I like these so much because I am resistant to doing what everybody else is doing 9 times out of 10. But in this pocket of the fashion world where you're looking for timeless staples, there's really a few things that just keep coming up and keep coming up, and the Our Legacy Camion is one of them. So I caved, I bought it, and I like them. I like them. I don't think you need to buy these because they're so damn expensive. I think you can do very well with some of the alternatives mentioned in this video. I was a boot snob when I was a construction worker. I used to go to the States to buy my Red Wings because they didn't even sell them in Canada. And I really cared about boots back then. I wanted them to last a lifetime. I actually still have a pair from over 10 years ago that I used to wear on the job site that have held up. So my biggest sort of indicator of whether a boot is good or not is how long it lasts. So I think the story is still being written for these, whether or not I could fully recommend them to you. But if you have $700 to $800 and you want that nice pair of everyday shit kickers that just looks good in a casual way, and you can sort of elevate if you want to as well, I think these are a great option for you. With that being said, they're not suitable in like a very formal situation, so you'd have to buy another pair of boots for that. So just keep that in mind. But for an everyday boot, I really like them. I really like them, and I don't want these to go to waste. I don't want my money to be wasted. I don't feel like it was. Talk to me again in a year and a half. Maybe my opinion will change, but for now, they're comfortable, they're casual, and they work with like everything. I really love the way they look with my Acne Studios jeans. I also picked up 3 pairs of these jeans in different colorways because I love them so much. I was gonna do that with the boots, but I found out that the brown ones and all of the other colors are just plastic coated leather. So when they crease or if you scratch them, it will peel off. And I'm like, yo, for $800, $900, that is a ripoff. So I wouldn't buy those just based on principle. Even though they look amazing, I'm not doing it. These ones though are pure leather. You won't have that issue. You scratch them up, you can polish them. These will be good forever. That's it. A simple video. I just wanted to get that out there to let you know what my actual thoughts are on these boots, if they're worth it, if they're not. So I'll wrap it up here. Let me know what you think down below if you like these boots, if they're overrated. I can totally understand the argument that they're overpriced. You don't need them. Go thrifting. 3 years ago, I would have said the same thing, but I got some money now. I like to spend it on nice things, and I'm actually trying to minimize what I own. So I have like 5 nice things instead of like 20 bad things that I have to repurchase and rebuy and just keep clutter. So I'm shopping with a little more intention these days. For that reason, I feel like this suits my lifestyle at the current moment. But again, I totally understand if your opinion is different. I was once there as well. Thank you guys again for watching. I really appreciate you making it to the end of this video. I understand this might not even hit the algorithm because it's just like, who cares about these boots? But if you did watch it, just know that your view is very, very appreciated. Your subscription would also mean the world to me. If you could click that button, we're growing. I've been a little inactive, but the sun is coming out again. I'm feeling a little bit better, and I think it's gonna be a really good year. So if you could just click that button and come along for the ride, I have a lot of updates for you. We're gonna be doing lots of brand sponsorships on the YouTube channel, which is a sign to me that I am making progress, and it allows me to earn an income here to reinvest and just make better videos for you guys and give you more content over time. So please support me if you can by watching, liking, subscribing. And every time you see an ad moving forward, just know that it is a sign of success. And I hope the same for you. If you're an aspiring creator one day, that ultimately is the goal until you can start your own business. you have to fund yourself somehow. And I'm really excited to be having all these talks with all these partners. It means that our community here is strong and growing and respected by brands. And that's all because of you guys. I appreciate it so, so much. I will actually talk about that more in depth if you guys want to. I can go into things like what I charge or how I charge for advertisements or how I pitch. I'm happy to disclose that. I've done it on YouTube before without breaching any contracts, of course, so I have to keep it very general. I've also started doing a little bit of UGC work this year, which is content for brands that I'm not posting, but they're using. So if you ever want to learn about stuff like that, just comment down below. Happy to share some advice with you and just grow with you on this journey. Also coming up, we have a lot of new furniture coming, very, very exciting, and I can't wait to show you. So if you want loft updates, you know what to do. I'll shut the fuck up now. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Peace!